She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Bournemouth can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Right, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the TOFFEES. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm not even gonna comment on that.
Care about Danny Elmo. Yeah.
I do.
Welcome back to Footy with the boys. A lot of news to go over and a lot of games to preview. Boys, we'll be running through the big news to get you into some Gunners and Toffee previews for the week, some featured matchups, and then the rest of the rundown, as well as our U.S. men's national team corner, as well as the lock of the weeks. But we got a lot of big news and a lot of transfer news here, boys. And we start with none other than Manchester United with a massive move for Manuel Ugarte, 50 million plus 10 in add-ons. And he was the only Manchester United move, as Scotty McTominay, the clutch god, the Scottish genius in their midfield, made his way over to Antonio Conte and La Caca at Napoli, making that move. And then our friend Nick Eddie Nketiah from the Hale End to Crystal Palace now, 25 million plus 5 in add-ons. Mike, good moves here for all, or which one are you rating the least?
Good moves for all, I think. I like the player, Manuel Ugarte. I don't know how well this is going to work out. Man U still has a midfield without a guy who runs. Ugarte is not a runner. Kobe Mainoo is not a runner. Bruno Fernandes is, but it depends on what position he's at. And if he's running, you lose his creative abilities. So, yeah, I like him, but I still don't know how it fixes their midfield issues.
Nick, we move to the rumors here. Ivan Toney, getting rumors of both Al Hilal, Al Ali, I believe, actually, and Chelsea, as well as Osihmen, also with those same exact two teams. It's down to those two for Chelsea as their striker. It looks like Chiesa for only 15 million. Looks like he's on his way to the Merseyside, not for Everton, sadly, but for Liverpool as another option on that wing. Seems like a steal to me. And then Jadon Sancho on his way out of Manchester United for either Juventus. Those wages would be an issue for Juventus. They're not looking to pay full wages there, or Chelsea in a potential swap deal with Raheem Sterling. Who knows if that will go through? A whole lot of dealings here. What of the rumors catches your eye the most? And if you're Chelsea, do you want Ivan Toney or do you want Victor Osihmen?
If you're Chelsea, you've signed two strikers for what, $100 million in the past. Well, no, like $80 million in the past 12 months, and Nicholas Jackson and João Felix. And
is João Felix a striker?
Center forward.
Where else does he play?
The bench.
Is he in anything? He's nothing. He scored a goal on the weekend. So, listen, I mean, whatever. Go get whoever you want. You're Chelsea. It's not going to work anyways. And the penalties that will rain down on you eventually will be crazy. I prefer Toney just because of the Premier League experience. And rumors, Osihmen wants like 500,000 a week.
I did see that. It was crazy the wages.
So nuts. These rumors, none of them are really pulling at me. I think Arsenal still do something here at the end of the window outside of the sale of Eddie. I have been very harsh about Eddie on this podcast, but he is a Hale End boy. I wish him nothing but the best over at Crystal Palace. I'll never forget when Jesus got injured at the World Cup and everyone said we were screwed for the rest of the season. Eddie came in and was serviceable, especially that late winner against Man U. Scored 20 seconds into his debut for Arsenal when he was, 19. So, not up to the level of the current squad. That's okay. We've outgrown him a little bit, but doesn't mean that I don't want him to have the best. Good luck at Palace. I think it's a good fit.
All right. Well, Nick, Fabrizio Romano did say that Arteta, after this sale, said he does want to bring in some type of attacking help, or said it's clear we need some more attacking help or more attackers. If you could have one person off your wish list, who would you want that one person to be?
I mean, it's an easy Nico Williams. They're seem in love with him, but
realistic one option.
I mean, realistically, we can pay his release clause tomorrow. I don't know if it's that unrealistic. I don't know if you can say any player in the world right now would be unrealistic to come to Arsenal. I don't know why.
I mean, Bill
he would be
Bow
attracted
already
to
said
Everton.
he's not leaving. So
Yeah, but he has a release clause. We can pay it if we can convince him he can come. I think it's very realistic? No, I don't think so. But if you're saying there's no chance, I think that'd be a dumb thing to say. So, yeah, Nico Williams would be the dream. Would have really liked Pedro Neto too. I think he would have been perfect as a rotational wing. Outside of that, I'm not really sure. Just someone with pace. Martinelli's the only guy with overwhelming pace. I've talked about this a bunch of times. We need a little bit more behind the lines kind of penetration getting in there. So I think pause. So I do think that any pace will do. Someone with some good talent and who I like our front three as it stands. I don't think we need a everyday starter. Nico would be that, obviously. But definitely someone who brings us something a little bit different.
I think
Torres is still
Mikhail
killing it over
Mudryk
there in.
would be a great signing. That
Oh my
Ukrainian
God.
left
Sure.
flank would be a dream. Zinchenko
That'd
Mudryk,
be a
Nick?
dream.
You rate it?
I would swap Zinchenko for Mudryk right now if we could want to do a player swap with Chelsea. I'd do that. I do think.
Chelsea would like that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Gyökeres links. Yeah, I mean, if we bought Gyökeres, I'd be very happy. I think he's a good player. You know, a risk coming to the Premier League because obviously a different style of football than Portugal. But he did play very well in the Championship before he moved to Sporting. He would be great. I don't think we need that profile of like a number 9. I like what we have there. I do think we need some more pace in the wings. But if a number 9 does come in, who's better than Havertz, who I think Gyökeres could be or maybe even is, I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah, of course. Beautiful celebration. Finally, Mike, big news wrapping up with Barcelona. They get Danny Olmo registered only through December 31st, so they're still penny pinching. But he does, on his debut, score a goal. They do not have enough money to register him for the entire season. They could only get him through December into the January.
How is this a club? How is this a real team? What is going on?
I am very confused and not at all confused at the same time about how they're not getting wild amounts of penalties from La Liga. But it is just because they are Barcelona and you can't penalize it because if you don't have Barcelona, there goes a lot of money in those TV deals and sponsorship deals for La Liga. So,
Rafinha, that's the guy I want. I'll take him.
Ooh,
Rafinha, he was a
he's not for
baller
sale, brother.
at Leeds.
Maybe he is, but
Brother,
he's turning up.
Barcelona needs some fucking money. They could sell anybody.
I have been very critical of Rafinha in the past, but he is a locked-in starter at Barcelona at the moment. Danny Olmo looked good today. I got to see some of that game. Almost scored a banger. Ripped one from about 35, went off the crossbar, and then ended up scoring the winner later from a nice pass from Lamine Yamal. Not exactly sure he'll be a starter. I don't think he will be unless he's willing to play off the wing. But I think his best position is right under Lewandowski in the attacking mid or 10, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of occupied by Pedri right now. So we'll see how it works out, but he's a good signing. Nonetheless, Barcelona are playing well right now. Unfortunately, they lost a young player today, Mark Nomal, with an ACL injury. So another midfield player out for an extended period. That is an issue.
It is a Barca tradition like none other. But Lamine
Really
Yamal,
quick,
goal contributions in each game.
Baller. Same as Bukayo Saka, by the way. For what it's worth, is Danny Olmo the most underrated footballer on the planet right now?
There was definitely an argument that he was. I think maybe his profile
if he goes
rose
to
a bit
Barca.
because of the Euros. I think people started rating him a bit more. But yeah, he was always class at Leipzig, just really never a big goal contribution kind of guy.
Every time I see him play, he looks like the best player out there.
Yeah.
I mean, he is absurdly technically good. I mean, his highlight reel is something to watch. If you have not seen Danny Olmo and how technically he is, feel free to search that on YouTube after this video here and check that one out. Boys, let's get into the Premier League here, and let's start with a banger of a matchup 2 weeks in a row for Arsenal, Nick. You beat Aston Villa, and now you go up against a Brighton squad that Fabian Hertzler has buzzing. They're looking awfully good. Their players are looking back in form. I think not having Europe this season is going to help them out a bit. Could be a pretty decent matchup here, a good test for Arsenal. What are you looking to see from this one? And do you want to rush Mikel Merino into it?
Mikel Merino, thank God you're finally here. I am excited to watch him play. Hell of a player. I will say before we get into this game, there's been some Simon or Simone Adingra rumors also for Arsenal. Would also be very happy with that signing. I think that'd be the perfect guy actually for the wing, even more so than Rafinha. So I would like that quite a bit. This is a big game. Oh my God. And you want to talk about big games? This is the easiest game of our next three where we go to the Etihad and then to White Hart Lane. So it is quite the start of the season for Arsenal. Huh?
Pause.
Tottenham Hotspur
Not White Hart Lane. What's it called now?
Yeah, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Boring.
God, that's so much worse. Yeah, that's horrible.
Idiot.
Listen, we go away to the Spurs, so it's kind of a must win. you can't drop points here if you got those two games coming up. Made that win last weekend even look better, I think. And Brighton's going to be a really good test. I think they've looked good. They demolished Everton, which, kind of feels like the standard at the moment. If you're playing Everton, you should beat the shit out of them, unfortunately. Hoping to see the boys recover here this weekend in a second. But I think Brighton is what they always were. I don't know how they keep switching managers and end up looking like the exact same team. Just free-flowing, positionless. People asked to do a bunch of things. People giving a lot of trust and responsibility. And for the most part, these guys that aren't the biggest profiles, at least like biggest name profiles, they end up following through. So Billy Gilmore has been smashing it. I think I saw that he might be leaving. He's been great in that midfield after Caicedo left. Obviously the Matoma and Adingra wings. Even Evan Ferguson isn't even playing because of how good Danny Welbeck is playing right now. So it's a potent attack. It's at the Emirates, so I'm still expecting a win here. I hope to watch an entertaining game every time these two teams play. Arsenal is okay playing like Brighton style of game, so I think it usually ends up being a pretty high scoring affair. So I'm looking at goals here. The big question mark, Arteta said it after the last, after in his post-match interview, said, man, this Trossard kid is giving me headaches because he's clearly trying to give Martinelli confidence by starting him, get him back into form. But I mean, Trossard comes on with one touch and changes that game against Aston Villa instantly. I don't know. His celebration was cold too. He looked like he wasn't there to have a good time. He was there to make a point, and I think he made it. I think we see Trossard start on the wing this weekend, if I'm being honest, especially with Jesus still dealing with a small little injury that should get cleared up here soon. And you asked the question yourself, Mikel Merino, will he make the debut? I sure hope so. I really think he's the missing piece. Like, he's not. We don't need someone to put us we don't need a game changer, I don't think, in my opinion. I think we need just everyone who is out there to be able to do their role at a really high level. And I think he's the last piece of that in the midfield. I don't know if Partey can do his role to a really high level anymore. I think Declan's better as a 6. And so I think you plug him into that left center mid and a lot of our left-hand issues get solved. I'm really excited to watch him play. Just all energy, all for the team. Really good technically, despite being 6'3" or whatever he is. Great in challenges, great in duels, great in the air. I think this is going to we're going to look back and say this is what pushed Arsenal to the title. Mikel Merino, the addition, he's going to be the X factor this year. I don't think he gets to start. I saw Arteta being like, hey, let's get him up to speed quickly. And when he introduced Mikel to the rest of the team. So I think maybe Arteta even wants him to start. But no, I think hopefully we'll get a little cameo. Hopefully it'll be the game will be tucked away by then and we can just enjoy a little 15 minutes of Merino like we did with Calafiori last week. So really excited about it. I think Arsenal, main thing, these center backs, stay alert. I trust these two boys with my life. They could defend anything. The pace that Saliba showed at the end of Aston Villa game, he's going to be huge again. And, either Timber or Calafiori starting again. If our back four is solid, I don't think we lose this game. So I'm expecting an Arsenal win, and I'm expecting to see Trossard in the starting 11.
Yeah, it is a big game for Arsenal. They have a big stretch of games here. Man City also with their own big stretch of games with West Ham, Arsenal, and Newcastle coming up. We could see some. No, it's still a hard stretch of games though. So I think you're going to see both these teams kind of tested early on here, see what they're made up of, and certainly when they face off head to head, who can get that advantage in this title race, because it is going to be, as it's already shown, going to have to be from week 1 here.
Really quickly, sorry.
Mike,
I do think. Sorry, my bad, bro. I really think that it's going to be a huge advantage coming back after winter break, after Christmas break with all the fixtures, whatever, and us realizing we don't have Aston Villa away, we don't have the Etihad away, and we don't have Spurs away. I think that's going to be a huge advantage in the back half of the season. Let's get them over with, and I'm looking for 2 wins in these next 3 at least, and no losses. 2 wins and a draw. I'll be happy.
Yeah, I think that'd be more than a good amount of results. Obviously, if you can get one of those 2 wins against City, that's big for the title charge. Mike, Everton faces off against Bournemouth, and it's been tough sledding for Everton. Although today in the EFL Cup, I tell you what, they were flying against Doncaster. It took a while, though, for it to show that much promise. Yeah, exactly. Tim gets on the score sheet. We have O'Brien assisting the second one. I believe it was Lindstrom assisting on Tim's first one. And then we have Beto flopping in that third goal. So a lot of different names. Beto hasn't really been playing in the actual Premier League. Tim has been, but he gets his name on the score sheet. And Lindstrom and O'Brien, the new signings, making their names known here. What type of changes do you need to see from Everton in this one? And if Everton does not get points, where does that put Dyche? Is this a must-win for the Toffees even this early into the season?
Shout out the new signings. Hell of a performance today from all of them. It's a League Two side. Maybe that's our level, but they played well regardless.
Say that.
Tim Iribunum has been pretty good. He stood out in the 2 Premier League matches, even with how bad they went. So he's a good addition in the midfield, certainly. James Garner played today. Good to see him healthy. I'll expect him to start. And then Iliman Ndiaye, he played like the 10 today, and he scored a great goal. So 2 guys getting their first goals for the team. It's amazing to see. Beto worked his ass off. Probably could have scored 2 or 3 today. Did eventually get his goal, which was good to see. The fans seemed to love him, and he was given high fives and everything. So as much as I've hated on the man, you can't knock him in those moments. I expect to see those new guys start this weekend. I think Jake O'Brien has to be in the back line. I hope Michael Keane's not next to him, although he played okay today. And then I think Ndiaye has to play at 10. I think he's our most creative player. I think he's the best player on the ball. I want to see him there. Striker's a toss-up. If it's Dom, I get it. If it's Beto, good, because it's a form game. He works more off the ball than Dom does, and that means something, especially in this Everton team where we scrap for every damn goal. Must win, I'm not sure. Must result, definitely. Definitely need to get a point here, get the season moving, because it's been so bad. We need goals. Give me at least 2. Bournemouth, they are a better team.
It's a tall order.
It's a tall order. But it's been a tough start to the season. I mean, Brighton, we didn't know how good they were going to be. They look fantastic. And Tottenham, we knew are a powerhouse. So it's tough. Can we bounce back here? Can we show that we actually can play in the Premier League? Hopefully. I mean, I am cautiously optimistic. This game is either a blessing or a curse, because now it's shown me that we can score goals, and I have a little bit of hope back. I need to see the new guys, though. If Dyche puts out the same lineup that he's done the last 2 weeks, I mean, fucking hell, man. You've lost the plot. And I will be rooting against him, because what are you doing? We need to see the new talent out there. Flags,
Well
are you optimistic? Are you seeing a result here?
I don't know. I don't know how optimistic I feel that Sean Dyche is going to see the light and put in the new signings, because he has not at all seen the light in the first 2 games when he had the full preseason, really, with his signings. So I hope that this cup game was a bit of a wake-up call, saying, hey, maybe I switch things up a bit. Maybe these new signings that we brought in to help the team can actually, help the team. But I do think that you need to at least start O'Brien in the back line. The defense has been horrid, and he's been brought in to shore up a defense that right now doesn't have Branthwaite. Get him some time there. I think Ndiaye, going to be important. I think he's just creative. And quite frankly, we haven't had anything creative in the first 2 games. So this is a massive test for Everton. If you can't get a result against Bournemouth, there's no longer the excuse of, but Brighton and Tottenham might just be a lot better, so that's why they win, even if we looked extremely shit. It's, if you can't get something against Bournemouth, all the panic sirens are going to start going off in my mind, because then we have Aston Villa next, not looking great there, and then it's up to Leicester before us to get our first point. And if you're getting your first point in the 5th game,
yikes.
Not good. Not bueno, as they say. Let's move to a massive featured matchup here, boys. It is Manchester United versus Liverpool, the oldest rivalry in the league. Manchester United at home here in the Theatre of Dreams, so Liverpool are going to have to deal with the creaky stadium dripping on them in the stands potentially. That may be a home advantage for Manchester United. But Manchester United have not looked great so far this season, but they're going up against still a new Arne Slot era here. What needs to be done here? It's 2 managers that come from the Eredivisie facing off against each other. Man U has not looked good. Liverpool has looked very good. What does Manchester United have to do here, Mike? What does Liverpool have to do?
Man U have to do exactly what Everton have to do. Change that freaking lineup. Ten Hag did it back-to-back weeks. It looked bad back-to-back weeks. He's got players that he can bring in and out of the squad. Depth is not an issue currently. Maybe there's a few injuries around, but the player pool is strong. And you have to tune it and tweak it if it's not working well. Mason Mount shouldn't be in this team anymore. I think he did pick up a knock anyway, so most likely won't see him. And you need to start a striker.
That's the bad one. He's got to be done.
Yeah, but who's going to play 6? I mean, Ugarte's probably not going to be ready.
Care.
And Scott McTominay is shipped off to Italy.
Gone.
But
Kobe,
yeah, the lineup
put in Kobe at the 6.
Kobe at the 6.
I know he's playing, but he's not playing as a 6.
No, he's not. It's a double pivot role. Yeah, maybe Casemiro needs to phase out, but I would look elsewhere to make changes first.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Bring in my star boy, bring in Garnacho for sure. Even if he does all these things, I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think Liverpool is just a cut above. I think they're going to kill Man U on the transition, torch them. Luis Diaz looks like a menace right now. Mohamed Salah looks like the best player in the world, as Nick said on Sunday. And whoever they play at striker, probably Jota, because he's in form and's looked well. That front 3 is going to give whatever the back line is made up of a hell of a lot of trouble. I mean, the fullbacks for Man U are good going forward, but neither of them defend. That's what you get when you have Mazraoui and Dalot playing on the wings.
Yeah, but Nick, it's a big if. It's a massive if, really. But if Manchester United do pull out a win against Liverpool here, how much does that change what you think about Manchester United and what they can do this season? And how much does that change what you think about Arne Slot and what he can do with Liverpool this season?
Yeah, listen, 2 of my bold predictions, my hot takes as we came in. 1, Man U finishes top 4. Not loving that one so far. 2, Liverpool finishes second to Arsenal. I am really liking that one still. What I saw in the preseason is exactly what I've seen. He is just using this squad exactly how it is. So honestly, even with the win, I think it just makes it a more fun storyline to talk about Man U. It doesn't change what I'm going to expect out of them. Those dreams died after they couldn't win against Brighton. I was testing a theory. I was wrong. They can't win ugly. They just get lucky sometimes. They're shit. Okay. Liverpool, if Liverpool loses this, that changes a lot of what I think about them. I know it's away. I know it's a big game, but Man U's in shambles. Let's be very clear. Okay. They were going to fire their manager 3 months ago and then did a U-turn after he shit talked them in the media to everyone. So it is not a great club. Their players don't look like they want to defend. Casemiro literally drifted away from the box and left 3 guys unmarked in the back post. It wasn't just his fault, but he had the worst visual for sure. It is a team that does not know how to win. That is what Manchester United is. I thought maybe they did know how to win ugly. No, it turns out sometimes their talent shines through. That's it. I don't think they know how to close out games. I don't think they know how to manage games. I don't think they have the starting lineup that they need out there most of the time. In short, I think they're shit. So if you are Liverpool and you are a serious title contender, which I view them as, I think they have every bit of chance that Arsenal does and every bit of chance that Man City does, even though I'd put them third in that list, even though I hope they finish second. I do think this is a big, big message that they might not be ready if they can't win this game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly a big matchup here for both sides. You want some type of momentum if you're Manchester United, and Liverpool are going to want to just keep trucking through here, and certainly a big win, although Manchester United are a bit in the dirt right now. Liverpool coming in and Arne Slot getting a win against a top 6 club away is a massive one for a new manager. Boys, moving a little bit down the levels of massive names, still to some big names, though, is Newcastle and Tottenham. And dare I say it, these teams might be on some watch lists for some unrest within their clubs. Newcastle might already be maybe making me a little unnervy this weekend. They really snuck a draw out versus Bournemouth. We're kind of lucky to do so off of a terrible VAR call, and then should have had a red card that also didn't get called. And then against Southampton, they get a red card within 26 minutes, and then, yeah, they win versus Southampton 1-0. But, man, I mean, they're trying all they can do to shit the bed in each of these games. Tottenham really shit the bed against Leicester, should have been able to finish that one. Obviously respond against Everton. But if they end up losing this against Newcastle, not a great start for them, especially for Ange saying he wins trophies in his second year. And Newcastle, if they lose this one, I mean, I don't know. It's 3 concerning results in a row then if you're Newcastle. Mike, who is more to lose? And if Newcastle lose, I mean, is there going to be some heat building up against the Howe seat there?
I don't know who has more to lose. I think probably Tottenham with the current state of the team. They're more talented. They're healthier, which is big. Newcastle's got serious problems in that back line right now. A lot of injured center backs and availability throughout the rest of the team. Sancho Toney finally back from his ban. I don't know if he'll feature yet, but that is a big addition to the midfield. It is concerning if Tottenham come in here and win easy, though, because St. James is a fortress. That's what Newcastle's known for. And yeah, they're going to be wanting glimpses of 2 seasons ago when they finished in a Champions League spot. If they can't do it against this level of team, Champions League is far from achievable because, yeah, Tottenham's good, but there are better teams yet to come. So big one. I think Tottenham will take it, but I expect Newcastle to show fight.
Yep. Nick, would it be a bigger indictment on Newcastle to lose at St. James, or a bigger kind of feather in the cap of Tottenham to be able to win at St. James themselves?
It's a good question. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what I think about Newcastle. I was so high on them last year, and then they kind of just faded, and we chalked it up to injuries, but now they're injured again. That's a tough one because Mike is 100% right. Tottenham is not one of the 4 best teams in this league, in my opinion. And so if you can't beat them at home, I think even a draw is not great for Newcastle. So I guess by that logic, I'd say it's a bigger indictment. But anytime you can go to St. James, if you can pick up all 3 points, that does make me take you a little bit more seriously. Now, again, this Newcastle team, everything has context, and this Newcastle team, their backline is pretty battered. So maybe you expect Tottenham. I think they split the honors, go 1-1 maybe here, and we walk away with both these teams falling down the table.
Yeah, I think that they are rather evenly matched, or at least of how they've been playing. So we'll see what happens there in that matchup. Let us know what you guys think is going to happen in these featured matchups. Who's going to come out on top? Let's go to the Premier League rundown. We'll run through the rest of the games here. We have Chelsea coming off of their 6-2 win versus Wolves, going up against Crystal Palace, who desperately needs some points. So that will be an interesting one. A lot of desire from Crystal Palace in that one to get something out of it. And Chelsea going to be riding quite the wave of momentum. We'll see if Madueke will say he hates London too, just to get at Crystal Palace, although Chelsea is there as well. West Ham against Manchester City. Not the easiest matchup for Manchester City, and very tough matchup for West Ham here. They made a lot of great signings, but they're running into the gauntlet here to start their season. Brentford versus Southampton. Wisa and Mbeumo. Let's see some goals out of that duo, and maybe we'll see Ivan Toney on a new team before that game starts. Leicester City versus Villa. I would imagine Villa will take some pride in this one and get some goals going. They are a very good team coming off of a tough loss against Arsenal. So Leicester City, it may be tough for you. Ipswich versus Fulham. Ed Sheeran, he's in love with the shape of you. I don't know if he's going to be in the love with the scoreline of this one. Fulham have been able to get it done so far this season. Ipswich, although they got a goal against Man City, did not look up to task to really get much out of that.
Ipswich
and then
will win
finally,
their first goal or win their first point this season.
Win their first goal.
Yeah. No. They've got their first goal. They'll get their first point this week.
All right. You heard it here first.
Couple shit.
Maybe. Hey, listen, I would love to see Ipswich get
take
something.
It from the greatest Ipswich fan, okay?
That's a good point.
Yeah, right.
Not as big in as you are.
You and Ed Sheeran level in terms of best fans. Nottingham Forest versus Wolves. Good God, Nottingham Forest. Every week so far this season, I swear to God, they have had the craziest matchups in terms of boring matchups. They have not had any interest for me. But listen,
like every time I look up, Nottingham Forest and Wolves are playing each other. Like that's just. I feel like that's the game that happens every weekend.
They got an interesting start to the season. It's Bournemouth, Southampton, and Wolves. What a start for them. Honestly, they need to take advantage of this. Wolves coming off 6-2 though, might have some fire to come back here. Boys, if you're watching one of these wins, which one is catching your eye? Mike?
Probably Chelsea Crystal Palace. I had higher expectations for Crystal Palace coming into the season. I like the project. Just tough start to the season so far. Good performance today in Carabao against lesser competition, but put up 4 goals. Brilliant goal from Mateta. Nketiah coming in, gives them more firepower up top. Not a like-for-like replacement for Elise, but still a talented player who can do a job. And I think we'll play off Eze pretty well. I think this is more of a test for Chelsea. We saw against City what happened. They blew Wolves out of the water. I think Wolves are just not very good. This will be more of a test against what I think is a competent team. Give the edge to Chelsea for sure, but I'm excited about this match.
Yep. Nick, what about you? Which one catches your eye?
I'm gonna be locked into that West Ham City game. You already know me. Let's get a little London Union here.
A little hate watch?
Get the job done. Oh yeah, classic hate watch. My least favorite thing in the world might be hate watching City because it's just disappointment all the time.
It never works.
Yeah, it sucks. So maybe I won't be watching the game. I'll have it up on my phone though. I will say this is the week where Palmer's officially forced to eat his words. Mike just called Wolves bad. Palmer just guaranteed that Ipswich is getting their first point. This has Wolves win and Ipswich getting destroyed written all over it. All over it. Wolves over Forest. That might be my second lock of the week.
Yeah. Certainly the jinxes are coming in strong against Palmer this week. Certainly I think the West Ham Man City game is going to be a fun one to watch. I think Man City with Savinho has looked good early, and with Kudus as well for West Ham. I mean, you got some ballers, some dribblers out there, and of course Erling Haaland's just fucking ridiculous, scoring so many goals. So we'll see if he can keep that going here against West Ham.
Erling Haaland brace inbound.
That's not even surprising. It's a hat trick, and I wouldn't be like, oh, it's a hot take. It's just what the man does at this point. It's ridiculous.
He's just a goal-scoring merchant. Whatever.
Whatever. He just scores goals. It's like overrated anyways. How many times has he held a low block and gotten a good draw out of a game?
Facts.
Not that often. Not that
Yep.
often. I tell you who has.
Where's the
Dominic
touch?
Calvert-Lewin. Maybe we can do a swap deal, teach him something. But why don't we get into the U.S. men's national team corner here, boys? And it is a interesting time for the U.S. men's national team as we are imminently waiting for the roster to be released. But first, let's check in with our players. Matt Turner reported today to have a lot of loan offers. But Nottingham Forest decide we want something permanent because we paid $9 million and now he's our third string. Well, brother, if you want something for him, you can't really have him as your third string and hope that you're going to get some amount of millions for him. Send him out on loan and maybe you can get something out of him later. But pray to God that Matt Turner gets some type of move here. We need some type of positive news for our goalkeepers. Other than in League One, Gaga Slonina, another man of the match. So good for him.
I've actually heard that Barnsley's interested.
Barnsley is actually looking for a backup to Gaga Slonina. Yeah, interesting times for the U.S. men's national team goalkeeper situation. Interesting times for Luca Kogliosho, the Italian winger that's in the championship with Burnley currently, potentially making a move to Wolves. For 20 to 25 million. He has been called up by the Italian national team, so we may have lost that dual national recruiting battle there, but still not over. He'd still have to file a one-time switch, so we'll see what happens there with Luca Kogliosho. Moving to Tanner Tessman, a pure American, got a scholarship offer from Clemson, and now he is moving to Lyon in France, away from Venezia, who pushed him out of the project. Boys, those are some pretty nice kits by Lyon there. I mean,
this is what the US should do for our kids.
French always do that.
Right.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, the French get their fashion, and Lyon, a good fit here for Tanner Tessman, playing in Ligue 1, so you'll probably never watch him unless you have the random assortment of channels it takes to watch Ligue 1, because they are god-awful at getting their broadcasting out there. But a big move nonetheless for $6.2 million here for Tanner Tessman. Excited to see how he does there. And speaking of our midfield, maybe a little bit in the future, Kevin Sullivan this weekend hits a banger. Play this video on here, Palmer. Kevin Sullivan rated as the, let's restart it here, off of a corner, long range banger here. Just bounces out to him. Oh, whew. Beauty from Kevin Sullivan, still the youngest player to play in MLS history. Getting some goals and assists there at MLS Next Pro, certainly making his way towards the MLS and building that hype train for him. But boys, he may not be the current up-and-coming for the U.S., but what is up-and-coming for the U.S. currently is Mauricio Pochettino, who is still not been confirmed by the U.S. men's national team. Felipe Cardenas went on CBS to talk about this, said it's really still on Chelsea to get it sorted out with the getting out of the contract, and it's more so about Mauricio Pochettino and all of his assistants getting out of contract, not just Mauricio Pochettino. So when you're running with your boys and you're loyal to them and trying to get them to come with you to this new job, it also means you have to settle everybody's contract, which still had a year left on it, so it's taking a while to get that completed. Hopefully it can be done, and still U.S. Soccer's hope is that he can be on the sideline for the September camp, or at least be heavily involved. Mikey Varis, though, was also reported to have made the selections on the roster and making the final selections there, but he's been hired by San Diego FC during this time, so who knows where the hell he's going to be for this camp. So a lot of things up in the air for the U.S. men's national team. Mike, Brian McBride said on a podcast that Mauricio Pochettino would certainly still have a say in the roster selection, although he's not actually officially involved, but so it's just kind of how it works when people are rumored to be in and agree to the offer. It's just down to the paperwork. How much of a say do you actually think Mauricio Pochettino has on this, or Mikey Varis with one foot already at San Diego FC? Is he the one making all the final decisions and Poach is just going to come in and kind of introduce himself?
I don't really know. I don't know how those workings go on behind closed doors. I can't imagine Pochettino has a grand understanding of the American player pool. I'm sure he knows the main guys, and he's probably comfortable with bringing most of them into camp. So if that's the kind of conversation, sure, that makes sense. But I don't think he's digging in the trenches, pulling out uncapped players. I don't expect that to be going on.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be going too crazy, but certainly might have some different stylistical choices. Nick?
I look. I mean, he better have a deep knowledge of our player pool by now. Like, he's
He
if
said
he
like 2
accepted this
weeks.
job, if he's accepted this job, 3 weeks ago? There's no way he only got interested in the job just 3 weeks ago. I'm assuming the job's been on his radar for at least 2 months. If you don't know our player pool, but there's not a lot to pick from, gentlemen. If you don't know our player pool by then, I have real issues. So he better have a lot to say in this player pool. It better be reflective of what he actually thinks, because we have 11 windows, buddy. It is time to start putting your fingerprint on these, whether you're on the sideline or not.
Nick, when do you start getting worried if he's not
Now.
confirmed? Now.
Okay. I'm worried now. Yes, I'm worried now. Insecurities, anxiety, they're all coming up. Why has he not been announced, guys? This is insane. I mean, if we went through all of this, the celebrations, the conversations, the talking myself into Southgate, all of that just to end up with Stevie Cherundolo, I literally might not do this pod ever again. So we need him to be confirmed. Why is it not happening? Just sign I don't care about all this Chelsea crap. Just put out an Instagram post, even if it's not fully signed. Give me something, boys. I'm getting worried now.
I am getting worried that there's not been much more reporting other than it's still just figuring out that. It's been about a week and a half now where they said they would sign last Tuesday. It's now a full week after that. And the reporting is the exact same of they need to figure out the Chelsea thing. Chelsea's figured out 5 fucking transfers since then. Why can we not figure out a goddamn contract? What? Todd Bowley,
Also, by the way,
you're American. Help us out.
Fraud card on Fabrizio. How are you not all over this? I get 40 updates on Eddie Nketiah going to Marseille for not to happen. How am I not hearing about Poch every single day on my timeline? Fab is... Someone put some money in that guy's pocket so we can be updated, please.
That's even more concerning. If Fabrizio's not talking about it, that means there's nothing to say. Which is alarming.
I will say, though, with the transfer, I don't know, it's Chelsea. They're going to have 50 more transfers before the end of the fucking window. Saying with it winding down, they probably will have a little bit more time to deal with the contract stuff on the back end and negotiate. But now they're dealing with Osihmen and Ivan Toney and Jadon Sancho. Maybe they have 50,000 more things to figure out. That when are they going to get to this contract? And the U.S. has just sat there, just sitting on their hands, just kind of rocking back and forth, please, we're waiting for you. We want our guy. So, I mean, it's a mess right now, boys. A goddamn mess. But boy, am I excited for him to come in.
Right now, I'm literally sitting on my hand, so I thought that was funny.
They're going to end up sending us Graham Potter. They're going to be like, this coach is still in our books. Do you want him instead?
I'm wondering if Mikey Varas is signing with San Diego FC, can he still be our interim during this time, or do we get moved to another interim?
All right, gentlemen. The time has come.
Henry.
We're stepping up. Let's go. Footy with the boys. Coaches U.S. men's national team camp.
We may have
coming to a field near you.
For our nation. We're going to play a dynamic brand of football.
No, we're not.
Just press nonstop.
If I'm coaching, I'm starting. So, yeah, please don't make me the coach.
If we're coaching, Gaga Slonina and Caven Sullivan are getting their first starts, and it's just fun.
I tell you what, we are putting our names in the history books. We are starting starlets, and we're going to say we gave them their start. We saw it first. But boys, let's get into what we did see first. The locks of the week, or more so what you guys saw first. Let's get an update on this. Mike getting another point as Liverpool beats Brentford, the Bees there. Nick getting another point as the Gunners beat Villa. Not the same score, but a win, and he's happy nonetheless. I had faith in Newcastle. What an idiot I am for trusting in Newcastle. I will not do it again, at least for another week. But Mike, what is your lock of the week for week 3 as a 100% predictor so far?
100%. Chose against the Bees this past week. Riding with them this week. Brentford 3, Southampton 1. Congratulations to Southampton for getting out of the bottom 3. Now I can choose against you. Thank you so much.
With 0 points, they're now out of the bottom 3, so good for them. Nick, what is your lock of the week?
Following Tracy's lead, picked against them last week, and take them this week. Villa 3, Leicester 1. They should be mad. I could see this being a slaughter, but it is at King Power, so I'll give Leicester at least a little bit of respect. A comfortable win, I'll say.
So a little Leicester, okay. I will give one shout. King Power Stadium, they need to allow the custom the pitches back. The grounds crew at King Power Stadium was at its peak during that Leicester City run for the championship, and god damn it, we need it back. My pick for this week is Liverpool. Arne Slot and the boys going up against Manchester United. Manchester United have looked dreadful so far this season. I imagine it continues against a Liverpool team that is looking good. I went 2-0 Liverpool over Manchester United. I figure it could be even more than that, but I want to be a bit conservative because I know Man U will sit back. I'm not reading out that. Man U. Losing that one. Let us know what your guys' lock of the week is if you could have one, and keep along with us. See how many points you can get compared to us. Let us know what you want to see from us in terms of content. More US, more Chelsea, Man U, Arsenal takes, whatever you guys got. Let us know. Mike, final thoughts for the viewers. Leave them with some wisdom.
Still waiting on some feedback on bonus points. We need to figure out how to spice up this lock of the week competition. So let us know any ideas. Up the Toffs, up Everton. Big matchup this week. Cautiously optimistic is the word of the day. 2 words. Nick, any thoughts?
Yeah, brother. I mean, I don't know where the hell that optimism is coming from. I don't know if you've been watching the past 2 weeks, but your League One victory today has got you feeling pretty high.
League Two. League Two.
Well,
brother.
Good point. My bad. No disrespect, Matt. Shout out Beto finding his level. Listen, I am here for the boys as always. Shout out to the Gunners. Gonna be a good weekend. Hopefully, a big month coming up for us. Start of something special. We can start that championship DVD early with some wins against Brighton this week, and then 2 big away ones coming up next.
Invincibles? Maybe.
Nope.
So far.
That is hard. That is difficult to do.
Invincibles so far. Make sure to like and subscribe. Really helps out the channel. We're trying to hit 200 subs, so get us there if you can, please. And until next time, peace.